Hi, friend. I don't know about you, but when I only have 150 characters to get a point across, I sweat just a little bit because words are hard. And you would think that the less you have to come up with, the easier it would be, but it's so the opposite for me. In this episode, I'm sharing my tips on crafting your social media bios. This episode is brought to you by my membership, Marketing Yoga with Confidence. In this membership, you get step-by-step tutorials, monthly Q&A calls, and so much support from not only me, but the other members. The doors are opening in September, so get ready to jump in there. Welcome to episode number 5 of the Marketing Yoga with Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Amanda McKinney, and I'm thrilled that you're here with me today. If we haven't connected yet, I'm a marketing coach for yoga teachers, and I couldn't love my job more. I share practical tips for marketing in an authentic way as a yoga teacher and lots of encouragement along the way. Copywriting is all about telling people what you want to be known for. And that's what I want to talk about today. So let's get this conversation started and keep it going, because the more we talk, the easier copywriting actually gets. First and foremost, we have to be short and sweet on social media, because here's the deal. We have less than 7 seconds to get people's attention. We have so many things going on in our lives, and likely when we go to social media, we are filling some space. So we're on that elevator, or we're waiting for someone at a restaurant. We are killing time by using social media. Most of us are not on scheduled social media time like I'm going to be on from 10 a.m. to 10:03. We jump in and there's no rhyme or reason because we're just filling that time and aimlessly scrolling. So when we do that, we have to remember what that person is doing and how they might come across our social media profile. So if someone's scrolling on Instagram and they happen to see something that you say, what you have in your profile, you only have about 7 seconds to get their attention. And in that time frame, what you're actually trying to do is encourage them to follow you and to keep that conversation going with you. So those are the words that you want to think about. And I have a few tricks to get this going and to make it a little bit easier on all the different platforms. So I'll go through each of the questions that I have, and then I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into specific social media platforms because they're all just a little bit different. The first tip I have for you is to know that your story is awesome, but your story is really long. So we have to get down to what we really want to say, and it all comes down to what is relevant. So you have to really think about what you want to be known for, not only on social media, but overall. So I talk about this all the time, and you know that I believe yoga teachers should really niche down and get specific. Once you've been teaching for a few years, you know who your dream student is. And if you don't, I want you to get my free guide as soon as possible because it will help you get a clearer picture on who your dream student is. And once you know who that dream student is, then you can talk to that person. So what I want you to think about is that if you were sitting down with your dream student, but you've never met this particular dream student before, it's a brand new meeting and you sit down at a coffee shop and you're sitting at a table, how would you describe yourself? That's where I want you to come from in all of your bios. No matter what bio you're writing and which one we're talking about today, I want you to think about that. Think about a real person. Don't think about mass numbers of people and what's going to get the most attention from a ton of people online. What you want to know is what that person actually cares about. And what they care about is getting to know you. So how can you introduce yourself, infuse a little bit of your personality in a really short way? So here are some questions that will help you write these bios, and I want you to keep all of these in mind no matter what platform you're writing for. The first question is, what emotion do you want the person to feel as they read your bio? So I know that might be a little bit weird, but I do want you to think about it. If you were sitting across the table at a coffee shop with this person, what emotion would you want them to feel as you were having a conversation? For me, I want anyone who talks to me to feel empowered and that there is a light around our conversation. I want it to be positive. I'm not trying to put sugarcoating on anything. There's hard days everywhere and we all have them. But what I like to do is to really break things down, make it a little more simple, and very much stay positive. So, a positive emotion is something that I really focus on. So, I want all of my messaging to be around that. The next question is, what do you do? You are obviously a yoga teacher if you are listening to this podcast. And so I want you to think about that in terms of maybe you just say yoga teacher, or do you say private yoga teacher? Or what about children's yoga teacher? Or you could say something like hip hop loving yoga teacher. You see how you can just infuse these little bits about your personality that can go into a social media bio. And the next question is, who do you serve, or what problem or situation do you address? So what I mean in this is I say I'm a marketing coach for yoga teachers. So right in that sentence, you know that I teach about marketing and specifically to yoga teachers. So I address who I serve. But what you could do is say, I'm a yoga teacher that focuses on back pain. So that actually talks about the situation or problem that you address in your classes or private sessions. It doesn't necessarily say who, because there's a lot of people that could have back pain. But what you do is you focus on one situation or issue. So you'd want to say that if you do have that narrowed down specialty, which I highly suggest. And the last question is, what do you want to be known for? If there's one thing that you want this person to take away from your bio, what is that? Do you want to be known because you have the best playlist skills in town? Or do you want to be known for that amazing restorative yoga class that people just cannot help but to talk about when they leave because they just feel so relaxed? What do you want to be known for? If someone was able to introduce you, what would you want them to say as they introduce you to someone else? This is what I want you to focus on, really thinking about that coffee shop conversation and how someone would introduce you or how you would introduce yourself to a brand new person. And I know it's tricky with a short amount of characters, but you can do it. And the clearer you are about what you want to be known for, who you're serving, or what problem or issue you address in your specific yoga, the clearer you can be in your social media bio. And the most important thing is to just have fun and let that personality come through, because that's really what people want to know. They want to have a connection, and that really helps the connection happen in that first little bit of your bio. So let's talk a little bit about Instagram. Instagram is probably the number one social media platform that I talk about because it is very focused on imagery, and yoga really plays into that. So most of the yoga teachers that I work with focus on Instagram a lot. So I want to spend the most time here, and we really have a very small area on Instagram. Your bio is located just under your name, and you can only share a few details in this where someone is going to decide, should they look at your grid or your story, or should they follow you? And this is where you have that 7 seconds to really showcase your personality and why someone should follow you. You only have 150 characters, so you do have to get pretty creative. And in these 150 characters, I want you to describe yourself and really think about how you would introduce yourself. Maybe there's a list of interests that you want to say. Maybe you love yoga, puppies, and coffee. So you want to list those 3 words. Or you could use emojis. And speaking of emojis, I get this question a lot. Should I use emojis in my bio? And the answer is you can, or you don't have to. And what I end up telling people to do is to say, if you go to your text messages and realize that you use a lot of emojis to talk to your friends, then I want you to use emojis in your bio because it's part of your personality. If you don't use emojis when you talk to your friends, then I don't want you to feel pressured in any way to use emojis in your bio. Because remember, we're trying to be authentic here. So we don't want to fake anything. We want to be just the way we are in our real life. So if you use emojis, go for it. You can use symbols as well. And there's also a really cool tool. It's a free tool called coolsymbol.com. And it's a free resource that you can copy and paste some symbols to. Because there are limited options on our phones and in the Instagram app. So if you want something that you can't find, that is a great resource. You can also put hashtags in your bio. There's mixed feelings on this right now. So, depending on what website you go to, you'll hear very different opinions. Some people say to do it, some people say not to do it. But the reality is, hashtags are searchable. So there is a chance that the hashtag in your bio could show up if someone searches that hashtag. So there's really nothing wrong with doing it. I haven't seen anything to show me that there's something wrong with doing that in your bio right now at the time of this recording. So if you want to use a hashtag like yoga teacher in your bio, go for it. There's nothing to say that you can't. And remember, this bio is something that you can change often. So remember that it's not permanent. You can play around and have fun with it. You can also change the font. So if you use the Instagram app to update your bio, you're only going to get the one option. But there is a free tool called lingojam.com. I will link to it in the show notes for this episode. And you can use that to change up the fonts. This, again, is just a fun free tool that you can use to spice up your bio, but there's no need to if you don't want to. So don't feel pressured at all, but it is something that you can use. Two other things that I like to include in bios is your contact information, meaning really your email address or mentioning that people can DM you, because people will often look at Instagram and think, how can I connect with this person? So calling out your preferred contact method is a great idea if you do want to be contacted, of course. Another thing that I like to suggest is adding a call to action. So whether this is a link to your freebie or mentioning, follow me for prenatal yoga tips, it doesn't matter what the call to action is, but just making it clear what you want people to do on your Instagram profile is really nice. Because remember, we're really busy people, so being told what to do is often really nice. And speaking of those links, we only get one. Instagram really only allows us to have one link in our bio. So you have a few options here. The first option is if you have a website, you can link to your website and actually have a page on your website that has multiple links. You can create this page or have whoever is managing your website create this page and have multiple links on that page linking to other things. That's how you can actually add multiple links within the one. But a really easy tool and a free tool to use is Linktree. I'll link to it in the show notes, and it's a really user-friendly tool where you don't have to create that page on your website. What you actually do is just use their form where you put in the multiple links and then you use the Linktree link in your bio. It's a great tool and I highly suggest it. And the last thing with Instagram is line breaks. Instagram doesn't make it easy to have line breaks, meaning stacking text and hitting enter where you want there to be a line break instead of it just being a space. So what you want to do is you need to use another tool and copy and paste your text into Instagram. The easiest way to do this is to use the Notes tool on your phone. So if you have an iPhone, it's literally called Notes. I don't know what it's called on the Android option, but there is a Notes tool. What you would want to do is type in exactly what you want your bio to say and how you want it to look. So if you want to have those line breaks, what you do is you type the words that you're going to use after the last character that you want before the line break. Put no spaces after that character. Hit enter so that there is no space. After that line break, it will jump to the next line. You can have your next text or emoji, whatever you want to put. So the key is you want to make sure that after the last character, you hit enter with no space. Once you have the text exactly the way you want it to look, you copy and paste that into Instagram. There are also a few other apps that you can use for this, but I find that the Notes app on our phone is the easiest way to go because you don't have to download another app and it's really simple. Just copy, paste, and place it in there. Just be sure to get creative and make sure that it is within that 150 character limit. So on to Facebook. When you have a Facebook page, there's an About section. And in this About section, you can enter your business information, contact information, and there is a section for a story. So you have a lot more words to work with on Facebook, but we do need to remember that while there aren't character limits on most of these sections, no one really wants you to go on and on, so we still want to keep it short and sweet. And the first thing I want you to do is to see if you actually have this filled out, because there's so many people that just skip over this, and you think, oh, I'll do this later, and then we all forget. I'm super guilty of this as well. And so I just want you to go and check and see if you actually have it in there. Sometimes Facebook will autofill some of the information, so you want to make sure that it's right because it's just using things that you've typed in before. So I would love for you to go and just check what you have and remember to focus on those key elements of what you want to be known for, what makes you different, why you as a yoga teacher. And I want to focus just a few minutes on the story section in the about section. No, I really want you to include this. Include a little bit of your story. And just a note, you can also include links in that story section. And I highly suggest that. So if you have a freebie, that's where you'd want to link that. If you want people to contact you to book a private session, call attention to that. Remember that you want to make it really clear what you want the person to do. And above all else, I want you to remember to check that contact section. Remember, you want people to take an action. You want people to contact you, so make it easy. It's the easiest thing to forget, but also the easiest thing to correct. I want you to have a contact method in there. Most likely, it's going to be your email address. If you want to put your phone number on there, you certainly can. But just know that you're asking people to contact you, so they will contact you. So make sure that it's an email address that you actually check or a phone number that you actually use. Call attention to what you want them to do. So contact me to book a private session, or check out my class listings here, or buy my online class. Whatever it is, call attention to what it is that you want them to do. And many of us have a YouTube channel, so I want to talk about that description as well. So within your YouTube channel, you have a section called description. This is where I want all the about information to be. If your YouTube channel isn't your name, then I want to make sure that your name is in there. So if you have yoga for neck pain, you would want to say, "Hi, I'm Amanda McKinney. I'm a yoga teacher that focuses on neck pain." You want to make sure that you actually introduce yourself. Because remember, it's you meeting them at a coffee shop. So remember, you would naturally say your name, so you want to make sure to do that. And then you want to share what people can expect from your videos. Remember, what's in it for them. Don't talk all about you. What I want you to do is share what they can expect. Can they expect 5-minute tutorials on specific poses? Or can they expect a 30-minute sequence once a week? What are you delivering to them? And on that note, I do want you to share when you will be uploading new content. Don't make them guess at this. Just tell them. Tell them, I will upload new videos every Monday and Wednesday. Or I upload one video a month. Whatever it is, tell them what it is and make sure to deliver on that promise. Because once we say it to other people, it makes it so much easier for us to actually deliver on that promise. So say it out loud in your description. And the other thing to remember about YouTube is that keywords matter in this platform, not hashtags. So don't use hashtags for this, but you do want to be really strategic in thinking about what keywords you use in your description. So if you're a yoga teacher that focuses on children's yoga, you want to make sure that you include the word children's yoga and some other keywords in your description. Don't go crazy on this. You could spend hours researching keywords. Don't do that. Just go to Google, type in children's yoga, and see what auto-populates. See what other words other people are using and start there. This is a process, and remember that. Just start where you are right now. Next up, we have Pinterest. And I'm admittedly learning about Pinterest, so I don't know all about Pinterest, but I am figuring it out because I am working on my own Pinterest account. So for this, we actually have a really short amount of characters in this platform as well. We only have 160 characters. So it's really short. But what we have to remember is that Pinterest is really visual. So it's important to be short and sweet with our words. We need pretty pictures on Pinterest. You do have to be pretty strategic with that. But today we're focused on that about section. So in this description, you have 160 characters. So I want you to think more like Instagram here. But we do need to focus on keywords, not hashtags. And the question you want to ask yourself for Pinterest specifically is, why should someone follow you and repin your pins? Again, we want to focus on keywords and not hashtags, but we also don't want to sound like a robot. So when you're thinking about saying why someone should follow you, but also focusing on keywords, you still want to write it like a real human being. So for Pinterest, what you want to do is introduce yourself, say what you do or what issue or problem that you address, and also what you're pinning. What type of content are you sharing? Remember to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. So that's it. Those are all the main social media platforms where you would have to write a short and sweet bio. Remember to just take it back to those core questions. What do you want to be known for? Who do you serve? Or what problem or situation do you address in your classes or private sessions? It really boils down to niching down and getting specific. So if you haven't done that, I want you to get my free guide on how to walk through that process. And remember that niching down is a process that takes time. So if you're a brand new yoga teacher, I want you to keep saying yes to all those opportunities that are coming your way and figure out who your dream student is. You'll get there, I promise. But if you've been teaching for a few years, you know this. So I want you to get specific. Trust me, it makes content writing so much easier. And when we can get really specific about who we're serving or what we're addressing in our classes, it just makes these bios so much easier to write. So do yourself a favor and really get specific. Your next best step is to update your social media bios. I want you to share a little bit more about you and infuse your personality. Look at your text messages and see if you use emojis. If you do, I want them in your Instagram bio. And do you have all the sections filled out in your Facebook page About section? Take an inventory. Make sure that you know exactly what is going on in all of your bios. And the best way to do this is for you to ask this question. If someone who didn't know me looked at this platform, so insert Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, if someone looked at this platform and didn't know me, 1, what would they think I do? And 2, do they know what action I want them to take after reading my bio? That's what you want to make sure to address. And after all this talk about getting short and sweet in your bios, I want to talk to you about something really exciting that's coming up. If you would like me and a special copywriter to review your Instagram bio, then I want you to stay tuned. The episode that's coming out on August 19th is going to have a giveaway included. I am interviewing a copywriter and she has offered to look at not only about pages on websites, but a bonus of looking at your Instagram bio. Details are coming soon, so make sure that you pay attention to the August 19th episode in just a few weeks so you can enter this giveaway. Until next time, give yourself permission to show your personality in your bio and grace along the way. Talk to you soon.